So hi to everyone. Whew, it is very hot outside in Tbilisi now, but I have a time now and want to share with you some information about my new Bilstein setup. You may know from my previous videos that I have installed and upgraded the shock absorbers on my car, and I installed Bilstein B8, and as I promised, now after about 200 kilometers of the distance I have covered from this mode, after done this mode, I am now sharing with you my experience overall. First of all, guys, I want to say that if any of you is going to change the shock absorbers on his or her W210, I highly recommend Bilstein ones. For me, these are number first choice, and it was my dream, I can say so, to install them on my car, and finally I got chance, and they are now attached on my car. First of all, if you have Avantgarde, and you know Avantgarde is the most stiff and shorter version, sporter version of the W210s, you can go and install Bilstein B8 shock absorbers with your factory springs, and they will work just fine. Bilstein says that B8s are for shorter springs, but the Avantgarde chassis from factory are just equipped with the shortest springs available for W210s, I mean factory ones, and Bilstein B8 shocks will work very good with the factory Avantgarde suspension, and especially with the springs. If you have some elegance or some classic versions of the W210, then I have to advise you go and buy Bilstein B6. They both have the same damper values, but for the sporter and stiffer springs, B8 is more suitable. I will show a little lately the part numbers of the shocks I have installed on my car. To be honest and to be true, the front ones, if you decode the part number of the factory Bilsteins, are not recognized as B8, but they go in complete with the rear ones, which are truly B8s. So Bilstein says to me that front B6 and rear B8 for the part numbers I will share with you lately will as I can say will develop B8 suspension for my car. Lately I will show you this, and it will be clear what about I'm talking. So what about the abilities and positives from Bilstein Sport shock absorbers which I installed on my car? To be true, it will not change your car absolutely. This will stay typically Mercedes, not very sharp with the handling, and not very sporty. You know, W210 is not sporty car, even if we talk about AMG version. This is luxury car with the sport elements. That's so set. But the car changed, and now the car is more stiffer. I don't mean that it is very stiff and it is not comfortable anymore. Not, but when you go over the bumps and when you go on the bad road and on the road which surface is not very good, the car is more solid, and the car feels that it is more balanced. I can say similar about the handling. Car does not shakes when you handle it, and on when you go through the corners, it stays on the road very solid and very recognizable. Let's say so. The improvements and the upgrade I have done on my car is worth the money I have invested in the new shock absorbers. I don't know, maybe my OM shocks would feel similarly when they were brand new, but with this Bilstein ones, I must say that a car drives and feels much more sharp, much more solid, and much more recognizable during the handling when it was equipped Sachs or factory shock absorbers. So guys, this is the first and least positive and the first time because I did this job. You know, these shocks cost enough money, and you must be advised, or you must be sure that they will improve your car's handling. I was lucky to buy them not for the price they cost from shop, and once again, thank you for the seller who sold them to me, and I'm very happy because today the car is feeling very good with these shocks. And if any of you is hesitating about doing this upgrade, I highly recommend to be sure that you will develop a good handling and better feeling of your W210, and I highly recommend you to go and buy this Bilstein B8 shock complete for front and rear of your car. Now guys, I will measure the stance of my car and show you it to you separately with the shocks. When I installed them at first, the car was set a little higher, but after some mileage, the car is lowered itself. You know, they were brand new, the shocks were brand new, and they must to be worked. And now I will show you the stance of my car, and also I will show you the part numbers. Once again, the shocks I installed on my car, and the complete, it is very important, is recognized from the Bilstein databases as B8 complete, not B6 or B12 or B4, and the complete consists from the 4 shocks, for to front axle and for to 2 for front axle, 2 for rear axle. So this was a little informational video. I hope the information I shared with you is useful, and let's now see the details I told to you on the starting of this video. So guys, now let's measure the stance of my car with the new Bilstein B8 shock absorbers. So you can see that my 2 fingers are enough. Now I will measure it and show you the distance in millimeters or in centimeters. And here you can see that it is 5 centimeters from the fender to the line of the rubber and 4 centimeters from the fender to the rubber itself. So guys, once again, the distance is 4 centimeters, and 4 centimeters is exactly as my 2 fingers in white. So this stance is perfect for me, and I think that this shocks allows you to drive your car very sportly and also not enough lowered to hit some bumps. Also guys, now I'm measuring the front end of my car. Here you can see it, and the same story here. My 2 fingers are enough to measure the gap between the rubber and the fender itself. Now let's measure it with the tape, and here we have more stance. So the 4 centimeters from the rubber to the edge, from the fender to the edge of the rubber, and 3 centimeters from the fender to the rubber directly. So the front end of my car sits a little bit lower than the rear end, and I think this is a proper fitment. And also the shocks are enough good to fill your car and drive it crispy. They allow you to do this very good, and stance is the perfect for me with the avant-garde springs installed on my car. And at least guys, now I'm showing you the part numbers. As I already mentioned, what I installed on my car, and it worked, and it gives me great opportunity to drive my car better than it was. This is the part number of Bilstein shocks. As you can see, this is for the front end, what I installed on my car, and this is for the rear end, also what I installed on my car. Here you can see the chassis numbers, and also Bilstein stamps that this is for E430 and this is B8 complete. 2 for front and 2 for rear shock absorbers. Here you can see it. This is official datasheet from Bilstein I received on 25 June of 2020 year, and you can see all of their letters here. So I am confirming that this configuration is B8 and it fits on the W210 avant-garde chassis.